And as usual, let's do var self equals to this. We cache the instance, and let's do self dot clear validation messages. First, that's what we need to do before we write the messages. All right, so let's do $.each. Let's loop over all the errors. Okay, so let's do self dot errors, and let's do function. Okay, so the errors will come in a format that is very convenient for us. So basically, since we have a name, form element, and a password, so if we're gonna have an array like this coming in from the server, and we'll have a name property for the errors, and then that will be a list of strings for if errors occur on that field. All right, so let's say there is an error for name. It says the name cannot be empty. Okay, so since that's the only validation we need for name, that's pretty much fine. So let's say for email, it says that email cannot be empty, and then if it's not a format of email type, we'll say email must be of type email. Okay, so you get it. And then likewise for the password as well, right? So let's just keep this in mind. We'll delete that in a second, right? So if that is going to be the array that we're getting in self.errors, of course, when we loop over it, we'll get a key value pair. So the key will be the name of the field, and the value will be the list of error messages. Okay, so let's do form name, or let's do input key, and then let's do error messages. Okay, so what we want to do, we want to check if the error messages for this here is of length more than 0, right? If it's actually set. So let's say if errors, error messages, that is, and error messages dot length is more than 0. Okay, then we want to find this input field in the HTML here, and then since we have created some a div with a class of error container right after 8 element, that's where we're going to target, and then we're going to put the error messages in here. Okay, so let's go ahead and write our plugin. So we're going to do $, and then we're going to say okay, actually since we have the form element, let's just narrow down inside of that. Let's say self.element.find, and then we're going to find an input with, or any element with actually those names. So we're going to do name equal to, we're going to do 2 strings here, plus, and then if the name is equal to input key. Okay, dot siblings, since we are targeting, for example, if we targeted this one, we wanted to get the siblings, that is any element that are at the same level, and then we're going to narrow down to error container. Okay, so I'm going to come here and then siblings, and then we pass in a selector so that we narrow down to that, and then we do .html. Now we're just going to get the first error in this array here, because we don't want to display everything. You can go ahead and do that, but I just want to display one error because obviously the user has to rectify them one by one. Okay, so we're going to do the HTML and then error messages, and then we're going to pass in 0 here, so just get the first one. And that's not enough. We just don't want the property there. Basically, we want it to be a p tag with some classes so that it's styled nicely. So let's create some p element here with a class of text danger. So this is provided by Bootstrap for us. So what it's just going to do is going to add make the text to be red. Okay, so let's put a plus here so that we append that. So we're creating a p element, and then yeah, so that's pretty much it. So now let's remove this. This was just to show how the format should be. All right, so now let's go to our server.php and start writing the validation logic on the server there. All right, so inside of server.php, let's open up some PHP tags, and then we're just gonna close it.